So what we've just heard from Matilda, and certainly what we know, is that our voice and our virtual agents are the voice of our brands. They're our tone of voice. They are the front line. They are the first people to interact with our customers. And we saw in my earlier presentation, can I actually have this? Thanks. We saw in my earlier presentation how just a 5% increase in customer loyalty could have a really big increase on a company's profitability. And the same is true when we look at the stats associated with agent churn, with the time to proficiency. Just as you were saying, your 3 months to 3 weeks. It matters because these costs are pretty astronomical. So I'm going to come with an example of how we can work around this. And I actually haven't named this third persona. I'm going to ask somebody in the audience. So if someone out here could throw out a name for me, please. So, thank you, Jeffrey. Jeffrey will work. A name. Someone's a wise guy. Perfect. So it's Jeffrey's first day today. Everyone knows what this feeling feels like. He's just started at the call center, and it can be a little overwhelming trying to learn everything. So in the first instance, we've had some internal bots to help him out, to teach him how to understand how to use the business, some HR bots, some policy bots. But now, today is the day. Today is the big day that he's going to be taking his first customer conversation. Now, wouldn't it be ideal if we could have someone who's been there a while, someone who's tenured, sitting next to him, essentially whispering into his ear, telling him about when it's best to respond, telling him how to better understand what the customer's just saying, how to troubleshoot. And that's essentially what our Agent Assist is doing. And to me, this is powerful for a number of reasons, but I want to highlight 3 of them. In the first instance, we can be very specific about ensuring we give the right suggestion to our agents at the right time. So we give them that opportunity to upsell. But the second one is, again, having worked in the call center, we don't want to keep adding more and more screens to the agents. This is all on the same screen that they're working from today. So it's one single pane of glass. And the last piece comes back to that brand tone of voice. We were talking about that earlier. Your agents, your VAs are on the front line. So isn't it amazing if we could have our virtual assistant use the same kind of language, have the same kind of knowledge as somebody who's been in the business for 5 years, as the same as somebody who's been there for only a couple of months. And that's the opportunity that we have here with Agent Assist. So Jeffrey here has been taking some conversations for a while. He's got to know the business very well. In fact, he's doing a really, really great job. So it's time for us to have a look and see if there's something new we can do for his career. So just as a matter of interest, can I see by your hands up in the room, how many of you are AI trainers or have or are currently training bots? It's a pretty significant amount of the room, and it's very humbling. So you'll know that here at Boost we have exceptional reporting around AI trainers. In fact, I come from the market. It's really, really fantastic. But it can also be a challenge when we have to look through conversations manually. So picture this. We've got our CX champion there to train the bot. He's come in, he's logged in for the day, he's got his cup of coffee. And the first thing he sees is a scheduled message when he logs into Boost. And that says, "Hi, here's your insights for the day." And it's not just, "Hey, here's how your bot has performed." It's, "Hey, these are your business metrics. This is the impact your bot has had on the business today. And here's the things that our customers were discussing. And this is what we think you can do with that. Here are some actionable insights." So it's really, really exciting. It's something that we are actually bringing out. So I won't take too much thunder away from Rasmus in a moment. But when we marry, I guess, the opportunity to look at our data in this fine kind of detail, when we look at the low-code platform that we have that gives you the opportunity to train and bring the best people like Jeffrey together, then we really have something unstoppable. So I'm going to finish with something a little bit cheesy, but I think it works, and it certainly talks to Nordea, who were here a moment ago, when he said the best opportunity is this combination of AI and agents. So don't just solve customer problems. Don't just build bots. Let's build careers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam. I really like your voice, and I think it would be fantastic if we could kind of clone it but not in a way that we do with that was done with Scarlett Johansson. Anyways, so I wanted to talk a little bit here in the end about what we are working on, because we showed now the dashboard, and obviously this is still a work in progress. The automated conversation view is something that we are actively working on. And you can say some of the challenges that have been with conversation reviews in general is about, well, you have to go in and review on a scheduled basis these conversations, but instead you can have the AI and the LLM do it for you. It's not, and actually identify the specific label, like automated, with a number of different subcategories on it, like automated transactional, automated informational, and so on. And escalation, and all of the other categories. But we are also in the future working on creating customized labels. So you can create a customized label, for example, for emotional responses, or even age groups, or brands, or other things like that. And at the same time, we provide also summary, or we will provide a summary of the conversation to make it a little bit easier to review it. Now, if you then go into the admin panel, and you'll then be able to set up a scheduling capability, so you can be able to go in and set up a scheduler and say that, well, every day I want 15% of all my conversations to be reviewed, right? So you just click that button, and then the automatic reviews will take place on a daily basis. And that eventually leads to a dashboard where you can see, a uniform way of explaining or of displaying the CSAT score, of displaying the escalation. But most importantly, we will at some point be able to calculate, what is the dollar saved, as in, well, it's this type of conversation solve this particular topic or this particular intent, which leads to a saving. But there's also an upsell opportunity, right? So we talked about upsell just before, and I think upselling is something that we see a lot, especially in banks, insurance companies, but also in a lot of other businesses. And I think there's really an opportunity to collect these metrics and to start to use those metrics actively within the company to display the value that you're giving to everybody in the company. Finally, if you have a conversation like, hey, I really like your product, but I have this particular problem, then that kind of notion of, hey, I really like your product, that sort of string there, it doesn't get, in a normal conversation today, it doesn't really get extracted from the conversation and used for anything. And one of the things that we want to work on is to put that in a metric, for example, called brand value, so you can sort of see how many of your customers actually appreciate your product and which ones does not, for example. So that would also be a way to sort of display. But this is all a little bit, it's not right now, but this is coming in the next months. So is that all? No, it's not. In fact, from all these 3 areas that we talked about today, generative action, voice, agent assist, automated conversation review, there is a ton of other features that we're working on. And a lot of these features are small nitty-gritty things, but there's also larger ones, like we have launched a new community, a new help center will be launched inside of the admin panel, and a lot of other parts as well. So I'm not going to go into all the details, but I will refer you to reach out to your customer success team in Boost, or your partner, or your sales reference to sort of help you out on if there's some specific needs or anything you need. So with that, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for this fantastic session. Thank you to the customers. Thank you to the partners. And finally, I also want to say thank you for everybody at Boost that has helped sort of creating this this fantastic event. It's not over yet. There's a lot to come. So with that said, I will leave it over to Jerry for the final remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Rasmus.